I found it by accident, tucked into the side pocket of her bag like it didn't matter. A small box, creased at the edges, unmistakable. Plan B. I stood there longer than I should have, the house quiet around me, my heart thudding with a mix of disbelief and clarity. She had told me she was working late. She had kissed me goodbye that morning like everything was normal. And now this small box was telling me a story she never planned to share. For a few minutes, my mind went to dark places. Anger. Petty thoughts. Imagining clever ways to make her feel the same panic I felt in that moment. I even pictured myself doing something impulsive, something reckless, something that would let me feel powerful again. Then I stopped. I realized that whatever I did next would define who I was after her betrayal, not who she had been during it. I put the box back exactly where I found it and zipped the bag closed. No confrontation. No questions. I decided to wait. That night, she came home late, moving softly, like someone trying not to wake a sleeping lie. She smiled too brightly, talked too much, filled the space with unnecessary details. I listened, nodding, letting her words pile up until they collapsed under their own weight. When she went to shower, I noticed how tense she was, how carefully she avoided my eyes. Guilt has a sound to it if you listen closely. The next morning, she was restless. She checked her phone repeatedly, pacing, biting at her nails. At breakfast, she barely touched her food. I asked her casually if everything was okay. She said she was just tired, that work was stressful. Her voice wavered just enough to be noticeable. I stayed calm, almost gentle. That seemed to unnerve her more than anger ever could. Then she said it. "I think something's wrong," she whispered, staring into her coffee like it might answer her. I don't feel right." She looked up at me, fear flashing across her face before she could hide it. What if I messed up? I leaned back in my chair, studying her. In that moment, she wasn't powerful or confident or in control. She was scared, not because she had betrayed me, but because betrayal had consequences she couldn't manage alone. And that told me everything I needed to know. I told her calmly that maybe she should see a doctor if she was worried. I didn't accuse. I didn't ask questions. I let her imagination do the work for me. The silence between us grew thick, heavy with everything she hadn't confessed. She nodded quickly and left the house, her movements frantic, unsteady. That afternoon, I made my move. Not with tricks or sabotage, but with truth. I gathered what I had quietly collected over months, messages she thought were hidden, receipts she forgot to throw away, timelines that no longer made sense when placed side by side. I spoke to a lawyer. I prepared myself to step out of the role she had cast me in, the forgiving husband, the safety net, the man who would clean up after her mistakes. When she came home that evening, she looked exhausted, eyes red, hands shaking. She started talking before she even put her bag down. Confessions spilled out between sobs. She admitted to the affair. She admitted to the fear. She admitted she didn't know how to fix what she had broken. She expected comfort, reassurance, a promise that we would survive this too. Instead, I listened until she finished. Then I told her I knew. About everything. I told her when I found the box, how long I had known, how her silence had been louder than any confession. Her face crumpled, not just from guilt, but from the realization that she had lost control of the narrative. The revenge wasn't what she expected. There was no yelling, no humiliation, no dramatic exit. It was watching her understand that I was done protecting her from herself, that her fear, her panic, her uncertainty were no longer mine to manage. I told her we were separating. I told her I wished her well, but I wouldn't be part of her damage control anymore. Later, alone in the quiet house, I felt the sadness finally settle in. Grief for the life I thought I had, for the trust that died without ceremony. But beneath it was something steadier. Relief. I hadn't crossed a line to punish her. I had stayed on my side of it and still reclaimed my power. She thought secrecy would protect her. She thought I would never see clearly. What she didn't understand was that waiting, watching, and choosing dignity over impulse was the strongest move I could make. And when she said she was scared, when she finally felt the weight of her choices, I realized I didn't need to do anything else. The truth had already done the work for me.